You know, you're one of the guys too online who I really like, who not only talks about drumming, but the business of music. Can you talk about how some of that's changed since you started, and some top advice for musicians who'd like to get to where you are?
Sure. So the music business has always been changing.
Yeah.
And really the anomaly that we've had is the past 100 or so years, not even 100 years, where a middleman has become in between the artist and the fan.
Mm.
And we figured out how to reproduce a plastic, replication of the song.
Right.
Whenever we could put it on film, or we could put it on some type of CD or disc or vinyl or whatever, cassette, 8-track, whatever that may be. And now we have a widget. When you have a widget that you can sell, then you have a business model.
Yeah.
And in comes the record labels, right? So it was artists, you play a show to your fans.
Right.
They had to come see the music, the same way music publishing. Music publishing used to be about sheet music.
Mm.
And they had piano song pluggers that would go plug the songs, and you bought the sheet music right? Music publishing is zero about that now. It's about how many plays you got on here and the Spotify and how much your earnings from the iTunes. It's completely different. It has nothing to do with sheet music. The music industry is the same way. So music labels never came around until we had a widget that they could sell. And then they sold that widget off of one good song. They would sell 10 to 12 songs and make $15 off of one song, really. The one song that hit or whatever. The only way to get that song is to get the whole album.
Right.
They're a record label. They sell records.
Right.
That's the anomaly. The anomaly is the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, these huge artists.
Right.
That the record label can push and sell a ton of units and become worldwide fans. That was the anomaly. What's happening now is that's crumbling, which is great. And really it started back with the early mid-70s with the punk scene, where they're getting signed by labels and telling their labels to go take a leap off a bridge in so many terms because they didn't like doing what they said they had to do. Right. So you really started seeing kind of the seeds of the dissolution of the record industry. Mm. And then you come into the 80s and you have glam rock, and they're just printing money hand over fist.
Right.
And then you come in and all the grunge era comes in. And all of a sudden you have guys like Kurt Cobain. And what do you do with that music? Because they don't care if you sell any records. Right. The point is that some of it sounds bad. And one of our A&R guys from the label, he said, we were all sitting in a room when we heard that, one of the first tunes from Nirvana, and we all shook our heads because we knew it was over. The age of printing money from these glam rock bands was coming to an end. And so you see it coming little. Then we have the internet, who is great at taking out the middleman, because now we have the internet. And so we're really at the best time ever. A lot of people, especially musicians that have been in the industry, and that's the ones it's the hardest for, the ones that have been in the industry and they did make a living off of record sales, or they made a living off of being a hired gun for a touring artist who depended on a record label.
Yes.
Those are guys taking the hits right now. Mm. But it's the best time in the history of the world to be a musician, an independent artist, a marimba player from Ohio. It doesn't matter, because internet, it's the great equalizer. If you're good, you can get your stuff out there. I had to go try to get gigs and play for free. You can literally make your own gig on platforms like Stage It, which is a free live streaming platform where people can tip you. They can come to your show and tip you online. Mm. Like, it's crazy that you can do that kind of stuff. Mm. No, one of the guys, one of the leading performers on Stage It would make like $9,000-$10,000 a show. Wow. And one of his shticks was, I've got a buddy that's friends with him. And I don't say that like, oh, I know people. I say that like I've got that knowledge from actually talking to people that know them. One of the great things was, he tried it in his first show. He said, hey, the person that tips the most, I'm going to fly to your house the next show, and we're going to stream from there. Wow. It just has to be enough to get me there. Ding, 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 ding. People start, and it doesn't take that many fans to make a living off of selling your thing. So really it's a matter of finding your niche and then producing quality content and being consistent about it. Being always aware of quality and always looking and being real with how the market is. I don't sit there and complain that I don't get to make any publishing royalties off of, all their plays on Spotify or YouTube, or I'm not going to get that many royalties from a streaming. I don't care, because I'm just so much of the mindset of that's where we are right now. Let's deal with it. how can we survive and make money? And people also, I believe, need to have some perspective, because especially in the United States, this is the most successful country that's ever been in the history of the world.
Right.
We are living in a very, very privileged time right now.
Sure.
And what they don't understand is if you're making $40,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of the world.
Right.
And when you have some perspective like that, we just went to Mexico and we were driving through towns and people are living in shanties in these shacks. And it's just, I traveled a lot when I was younger and got to experience a lot of very poor regions. And so if we understand that you not only have the opportunity, but you can make a living doing what you love. And notice I said make a living. I didn't say you can be a rock star and make $3 million a year. You can make a good living doing what you love, like what I do. I feed 5 mouths with what I do. You know, that's when I'm looking at my month, my goal is feed 5 mouths. That's what I got to do. And I'm able to do that by teaching, by playing music. But it's an amazing thing, you know.
Gift, right?
So I think just realizing where we are in the record or in the recording industry, realizing that there's not record labels that are going to sign you and give you, you know, $1 million signing bonus and put you in a studio for 6 months on an island so that it ain't going to happen.
Right.
Because they're not making money. They're signing 10, 15 artists at a time, throwing them at a wall, whatever sticks, they put some money towards that.
Yep.
They're leeching off of people that already have followings online. Right. Part of them signing you now is, what does your social media look like? What are you doing outside of here? Excuse me.
Sure.
And the deals suck, man. The deals they're doing right now, if you sign with a major label, over 50-50. I mean, used to, you could sell your merch and you got the door. They're taking 50% of the door. They're taking 50% of album sales, if not more. They're taking 50% of your merch. They're taking everything. Everything.
So it's not a good deal for the artist.
Sucks, bro. It sucks. We were doing our deal and we took 3 months to really talk through it. And this was 8 years ago, 7 years ago. So it would have been 2008, 2009, something like that. I don't remember exactly when. And even then, I told them, I said, because then you dealt with publishing and who gets the most publishing in the band. And well, he writes most of the songs, and so he's not going to come off as publishing. And so now we're dealing with, okay, well, now he gets 67% publishing and he's splitting 33% between 3 other guys. And that means I get 11 cents for all of his 67s. And I'm putting this, you know, it's like that kind of a thing. And I looked at the deal and I just told the guys, I said, this is really cool and it's a neat experience. I don't see how we'll ever sell. I don't see, unless we sell Nickelback numbers, I don't know how we're going to make decent money off of this.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. And so I think it's just really realizing we're in a ideal time to be an artist and to go after what you love and to be consistent with it and to find your audience.
Yeah.
You know, if you can find that, you know, 1,000 true fans, I think that's the name of the article. It's a fantastic read. And it's really true. If you can get 1,000 people that will buy whatever you put out,
right?
1,000 raving fans, it's all you need as an artist. You don't need the world.
Right.
You just need to produce content for them and art for them. So I don't know. I could rant on that for a while because I think it's just an excellent time to be a musician.
Well, and I love hearing that because I've heard that from other folks as well as other folks who said it's a struggle. But, you know, that's a really hopeful message that you don't need the middleman as much. You can connect right through this, you know, interweb here, right to your core audience, and that will help sustain you. So,
and one of the things that I hear a lot is, but then I can't just focus on my art. I'm going to have to do the booking and I'm going to have to hire the bands. I'm going to have to do this. I'm like, bro, I never said you wouldn't have to work.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were having this conversation with it being a given. You were working. It's a music business. You're working.
That's right.
I put a lot of work into what I do. I put a lot of long hours into what I do.
Yeah.
So anybody that's coming in, don't come in thinking it's not going to be work and you're going to get to just play your ukulele all day or whatever instrument you play. It's work, and writing the music is only a very small part of that work. The rest is distribution. How are you going to get it to people? How are they going to find you? All of those things.